Hi, everyone. How are you? Oh, this is so great. I love it. Great. You know what? I want to say, first of all, welcome to the Jubilee of Jubilee. Hi, Rick and Suzanne. Great. I see wonderful people. And if you feel like it, on the right, you have a chat. And it would be wonderful if you just put your name and your country or your city or wherever you're from. It would be wonderful. It takes just seconds. And it gives a chance for everyone to see that we are from different places. In the meantime, bonjour, Jocelyn. Yes. And then Mark Wayne, I see. Chuck, I said hello. Lynn Chapman, hello. That's nice. Naomi, welcome. Godwin, Uzu. Did I say it right? Yes? Good. Hello. Cheryl, Janet Falbo. Nice to see you, Janet. Yes. Wonderful, Donna. Michael and Diane, I did send you a kiss. I send you a kiss. Michael Hagan. iPad de France, I don't know your name. Je ne sais pas votre nom. Je ne connais pas votre nom. Mais hello. Michael Hill. Susan Bakalish. Hi, Susan. Nice. Dolores. You're looking good. Bennett. Even nicer with a smile. Rick and Lion. Susan. Kathy. Yes. Lisa. You're here with us. Wonderful. Great. And we have so many people. I cannot go through all of it, but thank you. I see all the names on the right with your country. It's wonderful. The ones who have asked and wrote, what is this music? It's not Mozart or Beethoven. I prayed and asked Jesus, what would you like me to open with? And the answer I got was the Beatitude by Paganini. And so it is so beautiful. And it's about the Beatitudes. What better music could we have than that? So that's really, really nice. How's everyone doing?
Good.
You're all doing good?
Yes.
Yes, I see some nice smiles. I guess you are doing well. So we are here to celebrate for the second year the Jubilee of Jubilees that happened 2,000 years ago. In 9 years, it will be exactly 2,000 years in 2030. It happened on May 18, 8030, and it's wonderful. A while ago at a, hey, Francisco.
Hello, everyone.
Wonderful.
Hello, Diane.
So a while ago, the initiator of this beautiful, extraordinary project is none other than our brother Joshua Wilson. I will introduce him soon. And he approached me and said, Diane, would you like to read this essay that I wrote? And I would like to know what you think about it. I read it and right away I said, Josh, this is absolutely extraordinary. We have to celebrate this on Urantia because it's because of the master's 7th and final bestowal that after his ascension and going to the right of the Father, he was declared sovereign of our local universe, and many other things followed with that event. So Josh and I have been working on this. I'm looking at you smiling. You better be smiling. This is great. And so we are so happy to welcome you today. We are the first Urantians on planet Earth, called Urantia, to recognize the Jubilee of Jubilees. Now, I was telling my friends, when I was a little girl, I come from a family of 12. And when I was a little girl, I was invited as the only one of the children to go to my maternal grandparents to celebrate their Jubilee. And it was 50 years of marriage. Now, 50 years for us humans was a big deal. So I still remember to this day going with my mom and dad in the car and going to celebrate that Jubilee. And it was like kaboom, you know, everybody was having a drink, smiling, dancing, eating. And so when that happened at the local universe on Salvington, it became known as the or the Jubilee of Jubilees. So that means it's majorly important. Another reason why it's important for us to recognize this. So as all of us are going to be leaving this planet and progressing in the universe somewhere, meeting again and high-fiving each other, I hope, Josh and I pray that in those years later on, we will have people who will declare May 18th as an official holiday of the holy day of the Jubilee of Jubilees, so that along with our sisters, angelic sisters, creations around the universe, our local universe, that they will say, Master, you know what? They're celebrating down there on your planet of the cross. And so that's going to be really wonderful. And we're going to be able to say, high five, we were there when it started, you know? So I want to thank you on behalf of Josh and myself for your presence, your beautiful smiles and all this. What we would like to do now is probably present, first of all, I just want to make sure that all of you, maybe I should ask Pablo Morales to just give a word to our Latin brothers and sisters about the simultaneous translation, because it's a big plus for us. So Derek, would it be possible to have Pablo
Yeah.
speak?
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Diana. Yeah. Bienvenidos todos de habla hispana. Hoy tenemos traducción simultánea. En la parte inferior derecha verán un botón que dice interpretación. Pueden tocarlo y se abrirá una opción donde podrán ver el idioma que puedan escoger, el que quieren escuchar. En el caso de español, les aparece allí portugués y en inglés. Escogen el idioma en el que quieran escuchar y ya los intérpretes se encargarán de hacer la traducción simultánea. Bueno, muchas gracias. Bienvenidos todos.
Para os falantes de português, vocês vão encontrar no menu inferior, em forma de planeta, Interpretação. Oprimem ali e aparecerá 3 opções. Escolhemos a de português. Obrigado, bom evento.
Thank you so much. Okay, so Derek, what about we put the beautiful video of Gary Tong, who made this video that is narrated by Paula Thompson.
Having started out on the way of life everlasting, having accepted the assignment, and received your orders to advance, do not fear the dangers of human forgetfulness and mortal inconstancy. Do not be troubled with doubts of failure or by perplexing confusion. Do not falter and question your status and standing. For in every dark hour, at every crossroad in the forward struggle, the Spirit of Truth will always speak, saying, "This is the way." This is the way.
Thank you so much. Is there, oh, before I go on, I just want everyone to know that we are live streaming on Facebook as well. So if any of you who are driving or listening on your phone or whatever, and you want to look at it, we're on Facebook, the Urantia Fellowship Facebook page. And Derek, do you see Gary somewhere? It would be wonderful to present Gary to our brothers and sisters because he's been doing such fabulous work. And you can see his YouTube page called Gary Tongue, T-O-N-G-E, Gary Tongue. Very loved and appreciated within the Urantia community for the extraordinary work that he's doing. Is he with us today?
Yeah, he might have gotten canceled out, kicked out of the room, maybe because there was a limit, it seemed like, on the room. But also, if you want to go, there's an interview of Gary Tong on the Urantia Book Network on YouTube. There's an interview series called The Spirit of Truth. And that's a lot of longtime Urantia book readers who have contributed to society from being actualized by revelation. And Gary Tong is one of the interviews on there. So I recommend for all of you guys to check it out. And then, yes, it is being live streamed on the Urantia Book Fellowship Facebook page. Yes. So if you want to tell any of your friends, they can go to Facebook and then search Urantia Book Fellowship, and it should be live streaming there.
Right. Is Paula with us, Derek?
Yes.
Okay, so can we see her? I would like to ask Paula to do the opening prayer to bless us all for this beautiful Jubilee. Hey, Paula! Paula!
Hello, Diane.
Paula! You're looking beautiful.
So are you, my dear. So are all these beautiful illuminated faces.
Yes, yes. Isn't that beautiful to see everyone smiling? How about you bless us with a prayer for this Jubilee of Jubilees?
All right. I just want to say Gary probably would be with us, but he has a new baby and he's such a devoted dad that he's probably on baby duty this morning. So will you join me, my friends, in prayer for this beautiful occasion of the Jubilee of Jubilees that we're celebrating this morning? Universe, Father and Mother, we offer to you this prayer of thanksgiving that's going up to you on this, the anniversary of your Jubilee of Jubilees. We invite at this time all of our friends on Urantia, seen and unseen, to join with us in this celebration and tribute to our heavenly parents in Nebadon. 1991 years ago, all the children of your heavenly realm, Nebadon, witnessed your momentous and final proclamation of equality. You, our universe father, Michael, gave you, our universe mother, a coordinate position of equality and authority in all the affairs of our universe realm. Thank you. O universe father, creator son, Michael, divine masculine, our forever father, brother, friend, descending light of paradise, we give you our love and praise. O universe mother, co-creator, divine minister, and divine feminine, we give you our love and praise. Thank you, heavenly parents, for your faithful service in time and space to create, stabilize, and uphold our universe home. Thank you, Michael, for your descending bestowal of love, light, and mercy, for your achievement of supremacy and your fair and able administration. Thank you for choosing Urantia as the place whereon you enacted this final and momentous episode of your long an illustrious creative career. Thank you, Mother, for upholding Michael in everything he has been required to experience in his efforts to stabilize and uphold our universe home. Thank you, Mother. Again, thank you for upholding Michael in everything. We know our world has been tainted with evil, even dominated by sin, but you both have sustained us with all our hearts. We know all is well. You too are our transcendent pattern for family and government in all of Nebadon, and especially for humans like us. You represent, in deed and in truth, the high ideal of family and the human institution of voluntary marriage. You both preside over a grand and glorious family of untold responsibilities and endless watch care. Thank you. We celebrate you. We love you. We respect you. We honor you. We also pledge to you our service. Help us ever and always to be worthy of your endless love, mercy, and ministry. Help our world find your peace, your harmony, and your precious equality. Even so, may it be. Amen.
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 Thank you so much, Paula. We love you so, so much.
Love you.
Thank you. To me, I find that Paula is the personification of Mother Spirit. When she starts to pray, we love her so much, you know, her prayers are so heartfelt. They reach at the core of our souls. So it's very, very beautiful. And we thank you again. Yes, at the same time, I would like to invite you, Derek, if you want to tell us the importance of May 18, because you told me that it has a special meaning for you, and also about your YouTube channel. I want everyone to know about the great work you're doing. Would you like to take a moment and share that with everyone?
Sure, just a short moment. I won't hog the stage because I'm always on the camera, but to me, the date of May 18th has been very important for a while, being the Spirit of Truth Day in my life. And that's been something that has been so important to me because obviously it's culminated in me having a podcast called Spirit of Truth, where we've celebrated all of people being actualized by the revelation. But also May 18th is when the Spirit of Truth arrived here. And with that, I saw and I see it as a play coming from Jesus, kind of this new play as to how administrative government on this planet will unfold and how we can get involved and engaged with the seraphic administration as well. And these are all a new team. This is all a new administration that we get to work with. So I always, with the support of Paula a couple of years ago, we came up with a program called the Pathfinder program that I implemented with the Youth and Young Adults Urantia group in 2018, I think it was. And that was a process of getting them to kind of self-reflect on what are their God-given abilities and their developed talents and skills, their developed acquired skills, and then kind of reflect into how can this become this skill set, how can this become a service venture? How can I help people on the planet with it in a practical sense? Like, how can I really make it tangible and materialize it? and then asking themselves, okay, well, this skill set that is for service, where does that fit in with the seraphic planetary government, with the 12 corps of angels and where they're working? And so we wrote out all the angels and what they do, and then people went up there and signed up with the angels, what they felt that their assignments were, or whatever they were creative about. And I didn't check in on everyone. I know that some people took it seriously, some people didn't. I took it very seriously, and I felt that like I signed up with the angels of enlightenment and the angels of progress. And I took that consecration very deeply, and all of us, we then prayed and asked the angels to work with us, and that we want to work with them, and that we offer what we have in service. And so what came from that was a consecration of work that then culminated after 2.5 years, just last week, that I was finally able to finish the development of the Urantia Book Network phone app. So very soon it's up on the Apple Store, just fixing a couple bugs. It'll be up on the Google Store soon. It'll be free. And it's an application that everyone will be able to read and listen to the Urantia book. They'll be able to have unlimited video chats like we have here. They'll be able to sell products on the marketplace. They'll be able to schedule live streaming and in-person events. They'll be able to upload their study material, so study aids. So it's pretty much like a walking book, a study education thing. And so then you can, just with one push of the button, you're able to live stream webinars and everything. I just took it in account of everything that we needed, picked Paula's brain, and then threw it into some technology so that we have new potentials for creativity and connecting. And hopefully the Spirit of Truth will be there working with us. And some people will use it, some people won't. But again, it's a free device for the network of the Urantia family to connect, and who knows what the potentials will unfold from that. So I feel like I'm living proof of this Spirit of Truth working here on this planet. I know everybody here is also, and thanks Diane for the opportunity for me to just kind of highlight how important May 18th is for me personally and for our future development here on this world.
Great. Thank you, Derek. And I want everyone to know that Derek has made some really, really great interviews of many of us Urantia book readers on very specific topics. And you can see that on his YouTube channel called Urantia Book Network. And if you go there, you will see many choices, among them those interviews that he did, and very informative. So we're very grateful to you, Derek, for the great work you've been doing. In the meantime, before, do you see God Jameson in the group? In the meantime, I want to say hi, Stephen Larson. Say hi to Crystalline as well. Yes. And also I see Tom Choquette and Paul and Joyce. Hey, nice. Hello. Nice for being here. Rick and Pablo Segovia, there you are. Good. Sandra and Gabriel. Thank you.
Gary got a hand now too. So Gary's here.
Gary's here. How about, thank you, Gabrielle and Sandra. Wonderful. Do you want to show us Gary? Because I want everyone to see. Now he won't be able to get away with it. Everybody will recognize it.
Gary, where are you, man? Just start talking. Unmute yourself and start talking.
I'm right here, guys. Just to let you know that my daughter's right behind me watching Paw Patrol.
Yeah.
It's lovely to see you guys. I managed to watch you playing the video. I couldn't get into the Zoom room because there were so many people trying to join. So I noticed when I was on there was 35 people on Facebook watching, and there was 100 people in here. So I've only just managed to get in. It only took me 40 attempts, but I'm here now. So I kept pressing refresh until somebody left.
Sorry.
But it's great to see you guys, and it's so nice to see so many people here.
Yes.
And I've got sun beaming in on me. I'm way more lit than I want to be at 8:25.
But we want to thank you, Gary, for the incredible work you're doing and to show us this cosmic perspective through your work and your videos. And you have Andre and Paula and your gorgeous one. What's her name?
This one's River.
Reva.
Say hi, River.
Hello, Reva. Hi. Hi, Reva. Beautiful you look. Yeah, so Gary, I'm glad because now everybody sees you. And when they hear Gary Tong, can you tell us your whole name?
Yeah, it's, well, I don't use the middle name, but Gary Tong, T-O-N-G-E. If anybody wants to contact me about, you know, outreach materials and projects, I'm easy to get hold of on Facebook. You know, Derek, for instance, is one of the people I work with a lot. Paula as well, Andre Rodatis, Jeremy Daigle. There's a lot of people and more recently, I've been working with Gabriel as well on something pretty significant. I'm sure a lot of people know about that.
And what is the name of your YouTube channel?
It's just Gary Tong at YouTube.
Okay.
If you just type my name, you'll find it.
Okay.
It's easy to find because I don't really put my name up front and center. It just says Revelation Works. Almost everything I post is just revelation orientated. So,
Right. Good.
which of course is a joy to be able to do. So.
Reva, we're going to move to someone else. We have to say bye-bye for now. Do we send a kiss? Did you catch it? Okay. Hi, Sandra. I see you. You hear me, Sandra?
Hi,
Hi, how are you?
good.
Yeah,
How are
yeah.
you? Hi, everybody.
They're with us from Israel. Israel. Yes, very nice to have you with us. Great. So, okay, let's continue. Derek, do you have Guard Jameson with us?
With our luck, he probably didn't get in.
Is he in?
Well, if he's here, he could start talking. I didn't see him. Guard, are you here? Maybe we could come back to Guard later.
Yes, okay. Whenever you come on, Guard, just say hello and then we will pick up on you and we will continue to give you the opportunity to say a word to everyone on behalf of the Urantia Foundation. So I want to say thank you to Urantia Fellowship for having sent the invitation to all their contact list. Also to Urantia University. I know that we cannot have Elizabeth Callahan with us visually, but I think you're listening. If you are, we send you our love, Elizabeth, and thank you so much for having sent the invitation to your list of contacts. We also want to say thank you so much, Pablo Segovia, for having translated the invitation in Spanish and Portuguese and sent it out to all your coordinators. And we thank your coordinators to have sent it out to all those people that they had on their contact list. I also want to thank Richard Lachance, for having sent it out to all of his contacts as well. And also thank you for all the Urantia book readers who sent the invitation to their family, friends, or whatever, because we want this Jubilee of Jubilees to become really well known across Urantia. So without further ado, I would like to introduce the initiator of this project, who's all at the source of it, Brother Josh Wilson. Would you like to say a word to everyone, Josh?
Hello, everybody. Good to see you. Bienvenidos, mi hermanos. Gloria a Dios. So great to have people here from a few different continents. The first thing is worship of the Father. So let's take a moment out. Father, we worship you. We ask nothing, but we worship you for all your attributes of loveliness and goodness. Nothing in our hands we bring, only to your heart we cling. We worship you. That's always the first thing, right? I cut some jasmine from the garden today, and I filled the vase full of rose water, and there's nothing quite like the smell of jasmine and rose together. It's very motherly, don't you think? Yeah. It's just like, you know, when you're inhaling that, I can't imagine that anyone would say a harsh word or think an unkind thought while they were smelling jasmine. I just think that would be impossible. And so as we inhale the presence of the mother, let's all just take a breath in for the real fragrance, the fragrance of kindness and friendliness and loveliness and goodness. So all breathe in. Okay, we are introduced. Carry on there, Sister Diana.
Okay, so just a moment, here I am. I want to say Pamela Chaddock, nice to see you. Wonderful. Crystalline, you look beautiful. Really nice. Trudy Cooper, hi. April Helen, gorgeous April. Nice to see you. Mwah, mwah. Nice to see you. Beth Wenger, it's really nice to say hello. Stuart Kerr, nice to have you with us. Jeannie Vasquez, I hope I said it correctly. Yes, good. Von Fosmo, you're with us. Great. Charles, Monica Camp, George, Philosophus. That's a nice name. Okay, so before we continue, Pablo, I did say hi before, and thank you so much, Pablo Segovia. I finally meet you. And hey, Belen. Nice, yeah, wonderful. Good. So I'm going to continue. Richard Lachance, you're with us. Great. Nice to be. Yes, nice to see you. Okay, so what I want to do is, just a moment. Thank you. Someone spoke? Okay, so now we're entering the part where we, Josh and I are going to explain the Jubilee of Jubilees and the Proclamation of Equality more in depth, because we want all of you to know exactly what it's about. So how about you give us the honor to start, Josh, since it is your project. You all have received the attachments that we're going to read together to inform you. It was the attachment about the Jubilee of Jubilees and as well the Proclamation of Equality. And you will see how important it is, and maybe close to a dozen of events that happen on May 18th at the same time. So that is a planetary date to remember. And so you want to start, Josh?
Sure.
Okay.
I had an interesting phone call yesterday. I called up a brother who lives on the other side of the state. I live in Arizona. And I got him on the phone. I hadn't talked to him for a while. And he's a wonderful guy, young father. And I could tell he was a little bit distracted. And I said, hey, you're invited to join us on the Jubilee of Jubilees tomorrow. And he says, yeah, I've got some family things planned. And I said, it's not just important that you be there at the, the Zoom call. It's just a time to celebrate and share with your family. And so we hung up. And then I got a call about 6 hours later yesterday, and he was sobbing deeply and loudly and uncontrollably. And at first I thought maybe something was wrong. Then I realized, no, something was right. Something was very right. And he was overcome with joy and love. He says, you know, I read about the Jubilee, and it was like a marriage between Michael and Mother. And he says, it just hit me, and I was just overcome with joy. That was just one instance. I talked to another brother a few days ago, and he says this relationship with the Spirit of Truth has just caused him to be bursting with joy. I talked to my daughter Rebecca on the phone, and she says, well, I'm at a St. Francis retreat this weekend with my daughter, my granddaughter, and her girlfriend. And we're going to be in a very remote location. And she says she wanted to teach the girls about how the universe mother is the partner of Jesus. And I said, that's beautiful. So just one after the other, I've been getting reports from people that are really moved by what they're experiencing. I'm just so happy about that. Glory to God. Okay, there's a little illustration I'd like to show you here in just a minute, but I'd like to kind of divide this description of the Jubilee of Jubilees that took place on May 18th, 30 AD, into two parts. One part is the universe part, where everybody in the universe is celebrating, which they are. I mean, we might have a planet way out on the edge of the solar system beyond the Kuiper Belt. They might be celebrating the Jubilee. I know they do on Selvington and Jerusalem and Urantia. And all the enlightened planets, there might be several million of them that are celebrating the Jubilee of Jubilees because it's a universe-wide holiday. And I think that they're looking down and they're saying, wow, maybe it's gone out on the system broadcast or the universe broadcast to say, hey, folks, Urantia, the place where we, the seventh bestowal, and that the sentimental shrine of 10 million inhabitable worlds, they just figured it out. We gave them we had to drop this book down on their head and into their laps, in 1955, and they're picking up on it. And most of these other enlightened planets, they've already been celebrating for a couple thousand years, but we're just catching up. And boy, is it a good idea, because we want to honor Michael and Mother. So that's the big universe part of it. That Jesus, when he ascended on May 18th, 30 AD, that he had a personal visitation and time with the Universal Father. And the Universal Father, the Heavenly Father, formally recognized him as a master son that had earned the sovereignty of the universe. And so many things happened that day within the course of about 5 hours. And I think it was like Derek was saying, we've all been celebrating for a long time the coming of the Spirit of Truth, but now we're learning there's just like just like over a dozen major things that happened all in that one day. And so I'd like to talk about I'll show you this. Okay. This vessel that's you, that's a person. And inside this vessel is soil. See that dirt? Okay, that's the soil of the human mind. Now, on May 17th, the day before, this picture only had one color. It was purple. It didn't have two colors. And the Holy Spirit has been with us all along for millions of years. The Holy Spirit from the Mother. And Jesus taught a couple times about the baptism of the Holy Spirit. When your person is immersed, that's what the Greek word baptizo means. It means like taking a piece of cloth and dipping it and submerging it until it totally takes on the new color. So thank God for the immersion, the baptism in the Holy Spirit. Now, Jesus taught his apostles on at least 2 occasions about that. And the Urantia book says it just went right over their heads. How could he have possibly got them to understand that? But on May 18th, this changed into 2 colors. And now we have the artistic stripes of blue added to the purple. So every person now is immersed in the Spirit of truth and in the Holy Spirit, both. And then at about age 5, we take a seed, very small seed, bring it way down into the heart, into the nucleus, and the deepest part of the human mind, and it enters the child's mind, it entered your mind, not the brain, but the mind. Okay, now we're going to do some time-lapse photography and see what happens with that seed. Okay, this is what happens. And the soul is born. This is your soul that grew up out of the soil of your mind, that had the conditions of the Holy Spirit and the Spirit of truth nurturing you. And so a little plant grew up, and some of the flowers are starting to show. And some of you, your soul has grown into a great shrub, just beautiful shrub. And so that picture there shows you the whole thing. It shows you the Spirit of the Father, the thought adjuster. It shows the human person. It shows your new soul, the new creation. And it shows the influence of the Spirit of the Mother, the Holy Spirit, and the Spirit of Christ Michael, the Spirit of truth. And in fact, we read in paper 194, it says, since the bestowal of truth, man is subject to the teaching and guidance of a threefold spiritual endowment. The Spirit of the Father, the thought adjuster, the Spirit of the Son, the Spirit of truth, and the Spirit of the Spirit, the Holy Spirit. So that's what your Urantia book calls the threefold. So here we have it, the threefold influence. Enveloping us is the Spirit of truth and the Holy Spirit, and dwelling within us, even within our own mind, is the Spirit of the Father personally to us, the thought adjuster. So those are the kind of the high points of what happened in the whole universe. A lot of planets already had a Spirit of truth. You know, that was already happening, and some are yet to receive. We received the Spirit of truth on May 18th. So I'm kind of making a distinction here. This is a universe-wide celebration. It was like an anniversary. Now we're having the anniversary of it. The word Jubilee means an anniversary celebration. Okay, so that's what I wanted to share with you, and I hope you'll study like some of these people I mentioned that were just got so illuminated and so happy about what they could experience. And I think Gard's on now, so I think let's turn it over to Gard. Hi, Gard.
Hey, Josh. Hi, Diane. So many friends.
No guard.
What a journey we've all been on. And my journey has been to try to get on to this 100-person. So I just got on. So thank you for allowing me on, and thank you for creating this space to celebrate Christ Michael, to celebrate the magnificence of the opportunity that each of us has been given. So I'm an accountant, a CPA by trade. And I always ask now, what are you going to do with all those assets that you've just talked about, Josh? And the world is craving what we all on this screen are aware of. And I just am here to share as a trustee, but also as a fellow voyager on planet Urantia, the immense opportunities that are emerging right now globally. I'm part of something called the Charter for Compassion. There are over 400 communities that have created compassion as their North Star. And there is a global uprising. And I see it in my children. I'm sure you see it in your children and grandchildren, in which the next generations are coming along and they're saying, maybe not the churches, maybe something else. And so my daughter, she said, I'm a nun. I said, really? What's the monastery you are attending? She said, no, Dad, it's None. I'm spiritual, but not religious. And so there's a whole generation that's emerging that's looking for the three pillars of meaning. And the three pillars of meaning are an experience of transcendence, which our master spoke to when he spoke to the illumination that comes from communion and reciprocal worship with the Father. So that's the first pillar. The second pillar is our connection to one another. And it's my prayer that as the angels of progress begin to emerge in terms of their mission, transitioning from the angels of the churches, that more and more Urantia students, more and more students of the revelation will identify with that work and will step into the world arena and allow themselves to be part of a larger tribe that is emerging globally. Again, there are over 400 communities that have established compassion as their North Star. And imagine this, Las Vegas is one of them. We are having a Jubilee celebration on Wednesday, and the mayor and the city council and many members of our community are coming out to celebrate compassion as the new filter, as the new North Star by which we make our decisions. So from Monterrey, Mexico, to Karachi, Pakistan, to Rotterdam, to Nottingham, to Sydney, Australia, there are communities that are emerging, and we carry within our community a special gift, which is the awareness of Christ Michael and the Creative Mother Spirit, the awareness of these assets. And not only the awareness, but the transformation and healing that comes from experiencing those assets. So the question before our community, and what I ask myself every morning is, as I know Tom Choquette and many of you do, what am I called to this day? What are we called to this day? So there is a wheel of co-creation that's going on, and it's emerging quite independent of the Urantia book. And it is a vision of supremacy in all of the sectors that affect us as human beings. And there are bridges that are being created for people to enter into those sectors and to bring the quality of revelatory enlightenment and awareness that this revelation, this fifth epical revelation given to us by Christ Michael, provides for us. So we are deeply privileged, and I pray every day that more and more Urantia book students will step up and step out and lean into the suffering of the planet. My friend and mentor, Karen Armstrong, who started the Charter for Compassion, said, a compassionate community is an uncomfortable community. And again, I'm going to pick on Tom Choquette. He knows that. I've been in discourse with members of the Interfaith Council in Seattle, and they're struggling right now in Seattle. A lot of issues going on. A lot of issues in all of our communities. So may we have the courage to step out and step into, lean into the quality of discomfort in our communities. So again, I thank you, Diane. I thank you, Josh, for creating this space. And on behalf of the trustees and the staff at Urantia Foundation, you know, we are doing our best, blocking and tackling every day to create that space by which people find a way into this new knowledge, this new awareness, and then hopefully create the opportunity to step out and lean into what's going on our planet right now. And we all, I know, hold Middle East in our prayers. We hold Myanmar in our prayers. We hold India. We hold so many places on the planet in our prayers. So let us be, as it says on 2064, ambassadors of matchless goodwill, and unfailing forgiveness and unconditional love, unconditional love. Believe it or not, most Christians don't see God as unconditional love. There's a wonderful book called The Four Gods of America. Most Christians see God as distant, authoritative, and critical. We have such an amazing revelation and such an amazing opportunity to bring our personal awareness into alignment with that unconditional love and matchless goodwill, and to bring that out into the world. So again, on behalf of all the trustees, we are so wishing you well. We are all the arms and the ears and the feet of the Supreme and of Christ Michael and of the Creative Mother Spirit and of our angels. And may we spend the remainder of our lives proving that unconditional love is the greatest of all forces in the universe. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Diane. Thank you all. And again, so many friends. I'm just in bliss looking at all of these faces and appreciating the journey that we've all been on. God bless you.
I guess I should. Does everyone hear me now? Do you hear me? Okay, good. All right. Before I continue, I said, thank you, God. Very grateful to have you with us. I want to say hello to Aya. She was with us in the past, so I just want to say hello. We have Jesus with us. His family name today is Rodriguez. Jesus Rodriguez. And then we have Elizabeth. I also saw Shane is with us with his son, so that's really nice. Bob Salome, nice to see you with us. And we'll continue. Bennett as well is with us. I want to do a reading of something. There are two basic, most important paragraphs in the Urantia book concerning the Jubilee of Jubilees and the Proclamation of Equality. So I will go right ahead. In paper 33.3.5, it says, upon the completion of the Creator's Son's seventh and final creature bestowal, the uncertainties of periodic isolation terminate for the divine minister, and the Son's universe helper, because she is the Son's universe helper, becomes forever settled in surety and control. It is at the enthronement of the Creator's Son as a master son, okay, at the Jubilee of Jubilees, that the universe spirit, before the assembled hosts, first makes public and universal acknowledgement of subordination to the Son, pledging fidelity and obedience. This event occurred in Nebadon at the time of Michael's return to Salvington after the Urantian bestowal. So this is our planet. It's extraordinary that it all happened here. Never before this momentous occasion did the universe spirit acknowledge subordination to the universe Son, and not until after this voluntary relinquishment of power and authority by the Spirit could it be truthfully proclaimed of the Son that all power in heaven and on earth has been committed to his hands. I just want to say, I found a note of mine when it says here that it happened before the assembled hosts, okay? It's a word, hosts. But the other day, as I was studying my book again, I just looked at the local universe angelic organization. I have a paper that I made a note for myself. And just to show you, it says just one host, because there are groups of angels companies of angels that become battalions, that become units, that become legions, and then it becomes a host. Just one host is almost 6 million seraphim angels, 5,971,168. And only 12 of those, and we're talking about the whole local universe, creates an army, and an army is almost 72 million angels, and that's only one army. So when it says that the armies of heaven were there, and they were in the presence of the assembled hosts with an S, that means we don't even have the numbers in human language for that. It just shows us the breadth of this event, which is extraordinary. We will get to be a witness of that, but on Urantia, it's important to know that. So once the Jubilee of Jubilees was authenticated, officialized on Salvington, just to end, it says, after this pledge of subordination by the creative Mother Spirit, Michael of Nebadon nobly acknowledged his eternal dependence on his spirit companion, eternal dependence. Talk about a marriage, a union, companionship. His eternal dependence on his spirit companion, constituting the spirit co-ruler of his universe domains and requiring all their creatures to pledge themselves in loyalty to the spirit as they had to the Son. So that means the Father said to the children, listen, children, I want all of you, our creations, to pledge obedience and loyalty to your mother spirit, as well as you have pledged fidelity and obedience to your father. So that's really something grandiose. And that gave forth the final proclamation of equality. Though he was the sovereign of this local universe, the Son published to the worlds with an S, the fact of the Spirit's equality with him in all endowments of personality and attributes of divine character. And this becomes the transcendent pattern for the family organization and government, even the lowly creatures of the worlds of space. So it's right here, us, right here, right now. So it finishes by saying, this is indeed and in truth. So when we think of the word deed, it means action. So it relates directly to the conjoint actor, Mother Spirit in action, and in truth, it's the Spirit of truth. So our Father and Mother. So this is indeed and in truth the high ideal of the family and the human institution of voluntary marriage. It's a total love affair. It's extraordinary. So I wanted to share this with all of you. Josh, would you like to add something? I cannot see you now because I see just about everybody except you, Josh. Yes.
Proclamation of equality. I love passing these cards out and just trying to educate everybody about it. I'll tell you another story. Guard brought up the thing like, what are you going to do with the assets? You know, once you count up and you see what you have, it's pretty incredible, the assets that we have. We learned that Jesus, after he ascended, that was on the day of Pentecost, and the 120 believers were gathered up in the room. And the Spirit of truth came down everywhere, in the city, in the country, in Persia, in China, in North and South America. The Spirit of truth came down to all sincere believers who were able to receive such a blessing. And so the apostles made more progress in 25 days, less than a month, the Urantia book says, less than a month, than they had in the entire previous 4 years. Now, if you do the math on that, that's like going from 1 mile per hour immediately to 60 miles per hour. And this is also why we're growing on our planet, is growing by leaps and bounds right now in the things of the Spirit. These are the times that we're in. For example, 3 nights ago, I was walking outside. It was around midnight because it's so hot here in Arizona that sometimes you have to wait till midnight before it cools off to go out and take a walk. It was very pleasant. My next door neighbors are 3 young guys, and they were playing guitar and singing and drinking bourbon and just having a good old time. And so I pulled over and started singing along with them, and I shared the gospel with them. I know these guys. I've seen them a few times. They're renting the house next door. But one of the guys, when I brought this up, he says, well, there was this one time when I did feel like I made some contact with God. I said, why don't you come over next door? Let's go into my house, into my back porch, and let's talk about it. And so we talked. He talked. I shared. He talked. We went on this way. And pretty soon the sun was starting to come up. And we both realized that we'd been talking all night long. And it was a marvelous time. So that's what we do with our assets, is we preach the gospel, which thankfully we figured out is just God is your Father, divine parent, and we are his children. So we got that part figured out now. So let's stick with that. That's the good news. Okay, back to you, Diane.
Okay, so now for the last part of this section, I would like to inform, Josh and I would love to inform all of you that not only this Jubilee of Jubilee, official Jubilee of Jubilees of all the celebrations in the local universe, I hope you grasp the breadth of what that means. It's a big deal. We make a big deal for 50 years. Imagine for thousands of years, okay, in the universe. And so that is beautiful. The proclamation of equality as well. But Josh, how about we start with the other important events that happened on that very same day as well? Maybe you and I could go back and forth just to tell our brothers and sisters the events that are related to the ascension of Jesus. And by the way, I want everyone, one thing, I want to say hello to all our South American brothers and sisters. I see a lot of you are on the phone calling to listen to us. So I wish I could speak Portuguese and Spanish. I would, please, translators, send them my love from Diane. And it's really wonderful. And we're going to tell you the events that happened that related to May 18 to show how important that date is. It was not just the Jubilee and the proclamation of equality. It started with, Josh, the word is yours.
Right. So we've talked so far today about the big Jubilee celebration that's happening in Salvington. And then about the part that happened here on our planet has to do with the coming of the Spirit of Truth. Those are the 2 big items, but a whole bunch of other things happened. And part of the big things that happened was the preparation of all normal minds for the universal, in other words, worldwide bestowal of thought adjusters upon the people of Earth. That was big. That everybody would be a candidate to receive a thought adjuster. It's just massive. Another thing is that Jesus set up this kind of new kind of government to deal with a very unusual situation in our system. And he set up 24 counselors on Jerusalem, all these one-time mortals that are now responsible for the rebellion planets. And one of those was sent down on that same day to be our resident governor general, one of the council of 24. Now you're saying, are you really sure that that happened on the same day? Well, you can look it up in the paper, the essay. It's in paper 114, 6.1. Yes, it did happen. Because also we had the arrival of the 12 corps of the Master Seraphim of planetary supervision. That was huge. Look how that's changed things on our world. I mean, we're the beneficiaries of it each day, and we could go on. So it's almost like, you know, in The Wizard of Oz, or maybe some of you saw the movie Pleasantville, where the movie started out in black and white. And at some point, the movie converted over to color. Remember when Dorothy started walking on the celestial yellow brick road? Everything turned to color. Similar story in Pleasantville. It's kind of like that. When all these things happened on Earth, it's like we went from shades of gray to just brilliant living color. And this is the situation we're living in today. So we're just very thankful. Just things changed from May 17th to May 18th. That's it. Go ahead, Diane.
You know, Josh, I call it going from black and white to Technicolor. You remember when the television came out, it was black and white and everybody was blown away that we had television. And then it turned to color and we went like, holy moly, now we see something. So it's as different as that. And there's also, if you allow me, Josh, I would like to say that there's something most important as well. We all know about the Lucifer rebellion that happened with Satan and Caligastia. Unfortunately, we're still paying the price 200,000 years later. Now, we know that Caligastia was dethroned from being the planetary prince of Urantia. So on that day of May 18th, Michael was actually proclaimed planetary prince of Urantia by our paradise advisor, the Union of Days. And that is really something big because we know that this time it's not going to default. So thank you, thank you, thank you, Jesus Christ Michael, as I like to call him, on the physical, mental, and spiritual plane. Physical, he was born as Jesus, Jesus, Joshua. Mental, Christ, when it says, if your mind fails you, ask for the mind of Christ, the Christ mind. And then spiritual, he's the creator's son, Michael. So to me, it covers all dimensions as Jesus Christ Michael. And I also want to inform all of you, because with time, I would like that you share it, you spread it, because last year we were supposed to, some of us had even bought our flight tickets to go to the Holy Land of Jesus and go on Mount Olivet, exactly where Jesus made his ascension, to officialize the inauguration of the Jubilee of Jubilees on planet Urantia. Unfortunately, just about a month before, we had this big announcement that we all know about across the planet. And I was thinking of going this year, so I had reserved all the event for this year. Sadly enough, we cannot go. And so as soon as I get the green light from Jesus to say, okay, this time you can go, Diane, and organize a trip, it's going to be wonderful, because I've already started to get emails, calls, messages. Diane, when are we going to the Holy Land of Jesus, you know, for a pilgrimage, as well as the inauguration of the Jubilee of Jubilees. So God willing, before I leave this planet again, I would like to, I told Jesus, I want to officialize this event because it is of utmost importance. So it's really, really nice that we have this as well as the other event. Josh, is there something else you would like to say about these events that happened all at the same time?
No, that's it. You can read the essay, and it's been put together by a number of scholars who work on this, and you're free to read it, but I think we covered the high points. Thank you.
Okay. Derek, I was wondering, do you have any, did you see any questions or? Not Derek, Chuck Thurston. Did you see by chance anyone who was asking for a particular question that we could answer?
Not that I've noticed.
Okay.
If someone has a question, they could speak up now.
Yes, actually, Derek.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, you can go ahead and put it in the chat if you have a question. And I know that's something we'd love to address. And also Diane has a couple of folks she wants to introduce as well.
Right. And can they open their mic if they want to ask the question verbally instead of writing it down?
I'm pretty sure they can.
Okay. So
Now they can. Okay, so-
anybody has a question or a comment to say about this Jubilee of Jubilees or proclamation of equality?
I noticed the one thing on the list you guys didn't mention was Jesus's ascension from Mount Olivet.
Well, yes.
That was in the morning.
Yes.
That was a busy day.
That was what initiated the whole.
Right.
It's like, you know, it's the domino effect. The first was his ascension, and then it went click, 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 click.
Right.
Yeah, really nice. Okay, so then I would like to ask, we have a friend here with us, Gabriel Rimberg from Israel, and Gabriel I invited him to come and share his project with all of us because it's an important project. And Gabriel, are you there ready to speak with Sandra?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, great.
So, hello everybody. We're in Israel, Sandra and I, living here for a few years. I actually grew up here. And I'd like to, first of all, say thank you to all of you for letting us speak to you and share this exciting project. Many of our team members are present in this call. I'd like to share my screen and show you some things. So I hope you don't get busy because I've got a lot of windows open. So we're talking about, this is the Sea of Galilee from the Mount of Beatitudes. And as Gard said, we have been given a lot of assets. One of the major assets of this revelation is the entire life and teachings of Jesus with a great many details in the part 4 of the Urantia book. And as we all understand, our world really needs to know more about Jesus. So the Center for Unity is going to be both a physical place, right there where you see the Sea of Galilee, and a virtual place that anybody can access from anywhere on the planet where they have internet. The purpose of this center, both virtual and physical, will be to do just what it says there, to present the world with a new and fuller revelation of the religion of Jesus and a new understanding of his gospel of eternal salvation. Let me tell you what is it that we're proposing. On the left-hand side, you see our design. It's already ready. I'm going to show you some walkthroughs through this design. But this is a big dream for our entire community. Imagine if you can go back in time 2,000 years and show a person who goes into a physical center on the shores of the Sea of Galilee what actually Jesus said, what he did, what were his actual teachings in an immersive way. This is what we want to do. We want to take the material from the Urantia book and present Jesus to the world, hold him up like paper 184, 185 tells us to do, infuse the modern culture of this planet with a new revelation of Jesus, and do this over a long, long, long period of time. Working with the Celestial Administration, so this center, both online and physical, will keep on going generation after generation, working together with the Celestials and the Spirit of Truth, whose mission is exactly that, to restate the Jesus gospel for each generation. We are going to target exactly the people that Gard was talking about, exactly his daughter, the nuns. They are about 60% of the population on this planet. About 30% of the millennials and 30% are the Gen Zs. The Gen Zs are from 9 to 24. The millennials are from 24 to 41 right now. Of course, they're growing up. Let us show them who Jesus was. Let them understand who Michael was in as great many details as we can do using technology. Let me show you, first of all, where this is going to be so you can see the actual site that we've selected. What you see here is in the northern western point of the Sea of Galilee. Here, this little house is already built, is an old house. This is going to be the visitor center. This part of the hill around here, from which you can see the Sea of Galilee, is going to be the outdoors worship area. This location is where more than 1 million people come every year, well, before Corona, to walk in the footsteps. This is where Diane is going to take you when you come. And I want to show you a little bit about what design we already have. And there's going to be a video coming out soon. We're going to actually share this with all of you, this video. This is the main hall of this center. In the middle, you will see a centerpiece, which is made out of crystal.
Wow.
Just like you will see in Jerusalem, crystal and precious metal. This will be receiving the light from above. I'm going to show you the third floor. This is going to be the third temple for our unseen Father. And I'm crying when I'm saying this. It is time that we build this structure once again on Urantia and honor our Father. And when we make this video, what you will see from those windows is the actual Sea of Galilee. It's the same vision that Jesus saw in his mind's eye when he was looking for comfort in his dire straits, in the most difficult hours. You will be able to sit in this structure, worship the Father, and see exactly what the Master saw 2,000 years ago with his own eyes. You will be able to walk in those areas, meet the Son, connect with the Son, understand the Son, and then worship the Father. This is what we're going to build. We're going to use technology. So this is just a concept, but you can see a person on the promenade. Imagine that this promenade, which is circular, is going to be coated with glass screens. And just like in Jerusalem, when you walk and you can see the history of our planet over a mile long or a few miles long, and don't quote me, I don't remember the actual distances, but you walk along somewhere and you see a representation of Urantia, and of course, many other planets. We will do the same thing for the life of Jesus. Here you can see screens where somebody is going to be able to choose. Let's say you wanted to know what was the relationship between Jesus and John the Baptist. You will be able to see different scenes of their life together, from when they were children, the first time they met, then when they met again when they were teenagers, then they met again on the baptism day. What is it that they were discussing? We don't know. It was private. But we know they had those momentous planning sessions way before they met again. What about Jesus and his disciples? Let's take the relationship between Jesus and Andrew. What about the women's corps? What about the travels of Jesus? We have all this wealth of information, both from the Urantia book and now with secondary works. Let us bring this to life for people. Let us show them how it will look. Imagine you can walk into a place like this with virtual reality and feel and see the baptism and act it in front of your eyes with the actual dialogue from the Urantia book. This is like the work that J.J. Benitez did in writing. Some of you know about this, the people from South America, because he wrote in Spanish. Thousands of people came to the Urantia book because of his works. He put somebody in the last week of Jesus like a fly on the wall, watching everything, seeing everything, hearing everything. This is what we can do today with technology. We can bring people back. We can let them choose how they want to meet the Master, listen to his teachings, understand the spiritual gold nuggets that each scene of his life has presented. There are a lot of us working on this project already. Many of the people working on this project are in this group right now. We will soon come out to all of you with a lot more details and with a beautiful video that explains all of this. And we will ask you and give you the opportunity and extend the invitation for you to join us, both with your financial, but also with your time, with your labor of love skills in any of the disciplines that we can use to restate part 4 of the Urantia book to begin with. And maybe in the future, in 50 years, we will be able to use the same platform to show our brothers and sisters many more advanced teachings from the Urantia book that the world is going to be ready to receive. So I thank all of you for listening. If anyone wants to contact us and listen and hear more before we actually start publishing more materials, I'll be able to take questions, not over this time, this is precious time, but thank you so much.
Thank you, Gabriel and Sandra. Beautiful.
Would you like to say something, Sandra?
Well, actually, I think this is an important project, and also the work. I feel when you talk about, the Mother Spirit and the work, how the work combined, over there in the universe. And I feel like in this partnership with my partner here on Earth is similar, like this work is going on, like they are really working for us, that they are really supporting this in many ways. And I think that many couples, that have reached this feeling of working for the Father together can relate with what I'm saying. So I feel really very privileged and grateful to be part of this. Thank you.
How about, thank you, Sandra. How about we all give a hand of applause to Gabrielle, to everyone that has done this. If we could have the sound on, you would hear everybody's applause. Really, really nice. Thank you so much. Gary, I'm sure that you're part of the group on this project. Are you with Gabrielle? Yes, exactly. This is extraordinary, Gabrielle. I remember the moment you told me about your vision, and it was the field. And now to actually see the structure and the design, it's extraordinary. And if any one of you has a question, if you look at the very, very beginning of the chat at the top, I put my 2 email addresses. So you could always email me any question you have. If you missed the person's phone number or email address, I see now the phone number for Gabrielle and Sandra, so you can do that too. We're all in it together, and God gave us each different talents, so that put together, it's like this extraordinary symphony, and it's important for all of us to play each our part of that symphony. And so we thank everyone. It's extraordinary. I also want to say that when Gard Jameson, the trustee of the Urantia Foundation, do you all hear me?
You got to start your video. Your video got turned off on accident. We can hear you, but your video's turned off.
Okay. All right. So how about, do you see
There you
me
go.
now?
Now you're back.
Sorry, everyone. I didn't push any button. Something happened. Okay, so at least you heard what I was saying. And when Gard Jameson, the trustee, one of the trustees at the Urantia Foundation, spoke, it reminded me of 1993 when I started with the Urantia Foundation. Oh, I see myself. Okay, so in 1993, I had given a speech at the IC 93 outside of Montreal. And I remember saying to people something that reminded me of what Gard said, and that is that the church, there used to be churches like buildings, and the Urantia book tells us that we have to think of a grain of wheat. When we look at the grain of wheat, there's the shell, and there's the flour inside, which is what feeds us, the wheat. And I remember saying to everyone, you know what? we are going to become the living church of Christ. And for a while, for an age, there was a time when we all gathered in the building churches to go pray, meditate, convene together, and unite together as Christians, or I will say, yes, Christians, the ones who believe in Christ. And now each one of us is a brick in the living church of Christ. And that just shows us how important each one of us is. Because like any building, if you take a brick out of the structure, it can all collapse. So that means we all have a responsibility, whatever it is, it matters. We are part of the living church of Christ. And this is why if I bring this down, maybe you will see, if I bring my camera down, I've put my Team Jesus sweater on. Team, because together, everyone, and that means together around the world, as Team Jesus rising up as one, together, everyone achieves more. And that is what Team Jesus is all about. And this is really wonderful to see what's happening around the planet. Yeah, thank you. Because around the planet, we see exactly all kinds of people, whether it is Muslim people, Jewish people, Buddhist, whatever. People come to me on my street. I live on the plaza, commercial street, and we have people of different religions. And when it's time for Christmas or another celebration or whatever, they look at us and congratulate us and say, Merry Christmas, or whatever it is, you know. So Jesus belongs to the world, does not belong to one church. He belongs to the living church on Urantia, and that is each and every one of us. And that's what we are to promote, to share. And like Gabrielle said, with that beautiful, extraordinary center, it's going to be such a joy for me, because I will, until I give my last breath, keep on organizing trips to the Holy Land of Jesus, because as I tell my groups when we go, it's extraordinary to know that we join 3 revelations in one, because we know that Melchizedek appeared on Urantia in Salem, which became known as Jerusalem. And then we have Jesus, who also was in Jerusalem, and we have us, the Urantia book readers. So we have 3 revelations combined together, and with all the knowledge that we have, it's extraordinary. So thank you everyone. I would like to invite the second guest for the end of our celebration, and his name is Richard Lachance. What happened with Richard and myself is that a few days ago, we were talking together. Yesterday, I was at one of his beautiful presentation where he showed us the 7 jubilees that every human being has to go through in our progression in the universe. And after this, he told me about a vision that he had, and I thought, wow, that's a cosmic way of looking at it. So I called him back and I said, Richard, how about you just share your vision with everyone? Because I think it would be nice to prepare ourselves. So Richard, are you, Derek, do you see Richard Lachance? Yes, you're here. Go ahead, Richard. You have to unmute yourself.
He can unmute himself now. Now it's okay if you can unmute.
Okay.
Okay, now we hear you.
Hello, guys. It's an honor being with you today. Such a nice group of people of faith. So in the last years, I had this dream of building a team for the future. So it relates a lot to Gabriel and Sandra project. So I'm glad of hearing what you present, and I will be glad of merging my idea, my project with yours. I think it makes a lot of sense. So what it is, it's called, there's no name, it's just ideas at the moment. So all of your comments will be welcome. So I call this Team Jesus, Michael's team, or Jesus Witnesses. So after our graduation from Urantia, I had this project to build a team of Agond hunters like you, to share our own life's experience in relation with Michael's last bestowal on our little world, in the incarnation of Jesus of Nazareth, the Son of Man, with contemporary brothers and sisters having lived on the very same planet and practically at the same epoch. It's only 2,000 years ago, and it's only a few thousands of kilometers. So if you think of the big picture, we are very contemporary to this. So the goal is to team with others similar group of people that live close to Michael's own other 6 bestowals in the seraphic groups, my material sons, daughters, Lanonandex, Melchisedec's. And the plan is to visit all of the existing worlds of Nebadon, and the ones in the making and the existing ones. And there's a total of 10 millions here. So it's a big project. And the goal is to explain in our own words, from our own understanding, from our own guts, to the other planets that didn't have the chance of hosting one of those bestowals. Not all the persons in Nebadon understand, as we do, Jesus' life as a humble carpenter, a man of the realm. Think, for examples of our brothers of non-breather planets, the people of other levels of physical existence. We will be able to explain them some of the important details of Jesus' life, like, for example, washing his apostles' feet during the Last Supper. For us, it's clear, it's something very, it talks to us, but for those people in the future from other planets, we will be the ideal group to share this experience. So it's in the future, but it all begins now, because it puts importance for us to fully live our own lives down here right now and deeply study and understand Jesus' life in order to start sharing it now as well as tomorrow, in order to make other people fall in love with him like we all are. In the paper 196, it says, one of the most important things of human living is to find out what Jesus believed, discover his ideals, and to strive for the achievement of his exalted life purpose. One of all human knowledge that is of the greatest value is to know the religious life of Jesus and how he lived it. So let's continue doing this with the plan of sharing this knowledge, this very knowledge of his life, with all the hosts of Nebadon as witnesses of the wonderful life Jesus lived right here a few years ago in our own humble human life form. Voila. So all of your ideas are welcome, and it's something in the making, but let's plan ahead, let's think big, and let's learn as much as we can right now with our own guts in order to share it today and tomorrow and in the far future. So 10 million planets will need a big team, but I'm ready to do it one by one. I have plenty of time, and it will be an immense pleasure to share it with my own understanding, with my own guts. Voila, thank you, Diane, for your wonderful work.
Thank you, Richard. How about we go like this? I think it's a great project, you know, to already know that when we have a job waiting for us, we have a project waiting for us. I think that is having a true cosmic citizen vision. We all know about the program that Chuck, Paula, Andre Rodatis, and Marvin Gorin do every Saturday called Cosmic Citizen. Well, when you told me that, Richard, it was like, wow. Isn't that wonderful that we can already remember on Earth, Urantia, what we will be sharing with our brothers, our universe brothers and sisters, and that's going to be just like, you know, when we read papers in the Urantia book, at the end, the divine counselor says, I know whatever I speak. So we'll be able to say in the universe when they will ask us, have you really been there or seen this or done that? We know whatever we speak.
Yeah.
The good stuff and not the so good stuff, but this is it. And so we are Agon dancers, and it's going to be extraordinary to share that. So thank you very much, Richard. Josh, did you want to say something?
Thank you, Richard. Yeah, inspirational. Actually, I did want to share another thing. See what I have here? I've got a little bit of pastry.
Okay.
And I would like to have a 1-minute walking meditation and invite all of you to go to the kitchen, get a cracker or a piece of bread or some cake or a cupcake or a cookie or whatever you have, some kind of bread. So just, if you could, I want to give a teaching what Jesus taught about what the bread means in the Last Supper. So please go ahead and get yourself some. So we're just going to have a little quiet time, slip out if you can. Go ahead and get that. And then we'll have a little talk about it. By the way, Richard, that was just fabulous to think about our universe career. That it doesn't end here, that we've got some great things coming up for the Agandanters in the future. Those who can believe under incredibly stressful conditions. Good. Okay. Ephraim's got his ready. Yes. And let's see, who else do we have here? Okay, I've got mine here. I see Janet holding hers up. Okay. So yeah, I was just giving some comments about Richard sharing that we really do have a universe career. And thank you, Chuck, also for bringing up like kind of the main thing, the ascension that happened. I think it was around, what did it say, 7:45 a.m. And all the apostles were there. And then suddenly Jesus was disappeared from their sight. He had finished all of his Urantia appearances, his resurrection, his crucifixion. And then finally it came to that day. And that kicked it all off. In the next 5 hours, a lot happened. Okay, so okay, if you have one, great. If you somehow can't, I know some people are actually driving right now, so don't do anything, just to relax. And but we are, for those who can, we're going to go ahead and share this together. Okay, let me share what Jesus said about it. It was the time of the Last Supper, and Jesus taught us. A lot of times this is missed.
Yeah.
But really what the bread means. He said that it means the combined life of the Father and the Son in one gift. And remember, we talked about the presence of the Father, the thought of justice that grows up into the soul, and the presence of the Spirit of truth, which is focalized always by the Holy Spirit. So Jesus gave us the whole thing. Now, when this bread or pastry or whatever it is that you have is, the flour and the oil is mixed and kneaded, and finally it's baked. And now that it's baked, I can't tease the parts of it away from each other. It's one. It's one bread. I can't separate now the oil from the flour. United gifts to the Father and the Son in one bread. It's really the only sacrament that Jesus, and he says, as often as you get together, do this in remembrance of me. So ask a blessing upon this meal and a blessing upon our unity experience of the Father and the Son in one gift. We know that Jesus is actually present at all such occasions. Thank God for that. God bless our meals together.
Thank you, Josh. What a beautiful, beautiful idea you had. And as you were explaining that Jesus spoke about saying, I am the bread of life, I would like to share with everyone that when I started to study the Hebrew language, I discovered how meaningful every word is. So where was Jesus born? He wasn't born in Nazareth. He wasn't born in Jerusalem. He was born where? We say in Bethlehem, just like normal. But when you study the words, it really impressed me that Bethlehem means the house of bread. And he was born, he is the bread of life, so he was born in Bethlehem. I thought, well, how meaningful. And there are so many words in Hebrew that are so descriptive of messages that Jesus shared with us. So again, it goes full circle. Saying that, Derek, would you like to put the last music? This is a worship to Jesus, a song that's only 4 minutes something, beautiful. And after this, I will invite our beloved friend Andre, that I see right now, to make the closing prayer, because in respect to the proclamation of equality, if we had an opening prayer with Paula, we need a closing prayer with a man. So we make it equal. So Andre will make the prayer right after the song.
Well, thank you again, everyone. It's so wonderful to be with you all. Our Heavenly Father, you who have manifested this loving reality as it is and as we progressively find it in our inner and outer lives, thank you for having given us our lives here on Urantia and in Nebadon, where Michael and our creative Mother Spirit have made us a welcoming home and a place to grow into the true sons and daughters you have conceived us to be. But more, thank you, Universal Father and Eternal Son, for begetting our Creator Son, who in choosing to bestow himself as 7 of his diverse universe creatures became the one person in Nebadon, possessed of unlimited capacity to experience the reality of the Supreme, and thereby won the supreme sovereignty of his universe domain. Thank you, Michael, for forever showing us that he or she who would be greatest among you, let them become server of all. Ever do you exemplify and inspire your creatures, that all might be inspired to serve lovingly to the utmost of their capacity. Thank you for showing us the way of humility, when in completing such service you stated, I have simply been about my Father's business. I am only doing the pleasure of the Paradise Sons, who love and crave to understand their creatures. Such humility enabled your exaltation to increased service, even such exalted service as we now enjoy in your bestowal of the Spirit of Truth and the consequent preparation of our minds for the reception of thought adjusters. God in us, growing our immortal souls. How can we possibly thank you enough? Thank you for your boundless trust in our immediate supervisors, who called for a 5th epical revelation of God's love and expanded truth, and additional revelation of your bestowal on Urantia, which we and our whole world sorely need. And And thank you for your selfless and self-forgetful acknowledgement of your mother, our universe mother spirit, as your equal and co-sovereign. You know with absolute surety that your spirit consort sustains you and your whole universe in all things. Surely your bestowals were made possible and repletely perfect by her unceasing sustenance and assistance every step of the way. Thank you, sweet and holy Mother of all our creation. May we come to increasingly know, appreciate, and love you, even as Michael knows you, in perfection of that love. Father, Son, and Spirit, may we come to know your creation as it has been revealed to us through Michael, Mother, and this epical revelation, that we might, in increasing perfection, become the serving sons and daughters you have conceived us to be. May we go forth in joyful and strengthening worship to do your will in loving service as your hands on earth, that all may see Jesus once again walking among us. Even and increasingly so, may it be.
Amen.
Amen.
So much, Andre.
Hey man, that was one of the best prayers I've ever heard. That was really good.
Great. That's nice. It made me think of a message, a beautiful message of Jesus, who says, all work with me is wonder work. God working in and through man. For this I came to earth, to show man this could be. For this I left the earth, so that this should be. And so thank you, Andre. Totally in sync.
Thank you, Andre. Thank you, everybody, for coming. And keep the celebration going. There's a cafe this week. The Mini Messenger is going to have articles about the coming of the Spirit of Truth. Share with your friends and family. Keep it going. Have a great week of celebration. And this is not the end of it, even though this is the end of our Zoom call. Thank you so much for coming. God bless you all.
Let's just say one last thing. In less than 48 hours, Josh, 7:45 Tuesday morning, this will all start. That's when it all starts. So it's really beautiful. How about we wave goodbye to everyone and
Goodbye.
maybe send love and big hugs?
Love.
Love, big
all.
hugs. Love, big hugs.
Ciao, ciao. Gracias.
Bye. Thank you.
Bless you
Bye.
all.
Bye, bye, bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Ah, you look great.
Thank you from Rita.
Yes, Rita. Thank you. That's nice.
Thank you, Diane and Bro Josh, for putting this on.
God bless you.
Thank you, Crystalline. God bless you too.
Yes, thank you, everybody.
Hi, John.
Wonderful.
Chao, gracias. Gracias desde
Thank
Argentina.
you,
Gracias
Joshua.
con todo. Chao.
Bye, Guillermo. Bye, April, Helen.
Thank you.
Eric.
Thank you.
Much love.
Thank you so much.
Gracias.
Gracias.
Hasta pronto. Hasta la próxima.
Pronto. Hasta la próxima. Thank you very much.
Gracias desde
Gracias.
Colombia, Suramérica. Gracias, gracias. Quedé súper emocionada. Gracias.
Morra. Mwah, mwah. Mwah.
Me too all. Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Bye, darling. Darling. Bye. Thanks, Derek. Yes.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, translators. Thank you,
Yes,
wonderful
thank you to
people.
the translators. Excellent job, always.
Okay, I'm gonna close out the session.
Desde Bolivia, un gran abrazo. Gracias por todo.
Ah, gracias.
Desde España, un abrazo muy grande para todos y muchísimas gracias. Ha sido un placer, de verdad, estar con todos vosotros. Gracias.
That was great. Great, 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 great.
Thank you so much, Diane.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you for being with us. Did you like it?
Oh, fantastic. Thank you. Very inspirational.
You're beautiful.
Thank you all. Thanks, Derek, and thank you, Josh.
Thanks, everybody.
And Andre.
Good to see you.
Bella presentación. Cariños desde Venezuela. Gracias.
Wish I could say you're welcome.